Started my Bible study. Yes. Good morning, guys. All right, as the title says, we'll be in Romans 13. It's kind of a timely passage with all the stuff that's been going on with the presidential election debates. With power hungry behavior that we're having exhibited for us today, this will be a welcomed passage, I think. Give us a little peace. Verse 1, Romans 13. Every person is to be in subjection to the governing authorities. Doesn't matter who that is. At your school, your work, at your government level, at municipalities, administrations of your cities and counties. You got to be in subjection to them. What does that mean to be in subjection? Obey them. For there's no authority except from God. So the person that's filling the position is far from perfect, but the position is from God. So we obey. It's like a wife and a husband within marriage. The wife is submitting to husband, not to man. It doesn't say man to woman, it says husband to wife. So you submit to a principal at a school, not to a man or a woman, but to the position. In the church, you submit to elders, not to a man. These titles were given because these titles represent positions that God created, and God made it for order. The more order we have, the smoother the spreading of the gospel is. And so it says, except from God, and those which exist are established by God. There you have it. So if you get a speeding ticket and the police officer is a smart aleck or seems overbearing, maybe it's because they've been shot at recently and they want to go home to their families. So get off your high horse and or go through basic training, get yourself a gun, and go stand in the way of bullets for the people of your city. Or take the ticket down there and pay it and chill out. Verse 2, therefore, whosoever resists authority has opposed the ordinance of God. Wow, okay, hold on. What do you mean you oppose the ordinance of God? God has plainly preordained that there are authority structures in every part of our lives, and we obey those authority structures, or else we're opposing God himself. If you decide today that you want to eat nothing but Twinkies and you just want to sit around playing video games and you don't want to even get up and walk a couple of miles, you don't want to do any manual labor, then you are saying that the system God set up in nature does not apply to us. That's what we're saying. And so get up, go for a walk, do a little work, Get your arms to moving so your heart rate gets going. Get moving. Get moving. Don't get radical. Don't get crazy about how you eat. I remember just eating soybeans and water for a while. That's just nuts. So just obey even the laws of nature. Don't jump off a 100-foot bridge and expect to live to tell about it. You're not. That's not going to happen because you can't fly. Gravity is too strong. Don't get drunk and drive a car. You're going to hit a tree. Inertia will win. You will die. So you can rebel against authority structures if you like, but it's not going to work. Hey, I got some names on there. Hey, Susie. Good to see your name pop up. Hey, Brittany. Caught up on the lessons I missed on my 11-hour drive. Whoa. Well, you didn't come by and see us. I don't know if you passed right by us or not on 65, but you guys should stop by next time. You drove back, I guess, which I guess we're second place to Daddy, but oh well. Good morning, Jeremy. God bless you too, brother. Yeah, so authority structures. It's that simple. Submit for the sake of the gospel. Any other reason why we submit, it's not so that we have a good marriage per se. It's not so that we can get a promotion per se. It's not so we get Citizen of the Year award per se. Those are all nice, but that's not why. If I am the most diligent toilet cleaner at work, which that's my goal, to be the most diligent urinal and toilet cleaner at work, then I get more of a chance to share Jesus with even my bosses because they don't want to part with me. They see I'm willing to do the dirty jobs, and I have opened up channels quickly to talk about the gospel. Do I want to clean toilets? No. Do I want to say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am? I work at a place in a business, and I used to own a business like the one that I work in. And so I have so much information in my head about how things work well. But do they do what I say or do I do what they say? Well, I have to do what they say. Yeah, but Tim, tell them how they should do it. No, I go along with what they say, and if they ask, great. But it's not my goal. My goal is not to be Employee of the Year, per se. Exercise. My goal is not to be Bodybuilder of the Year award. I think that's not my goal, per se. But that's great. Great. Eat right, walk, run, jog. Go for it. Be healthy. But that's just so that we are taking care of our temples so that we can share the gospel. My goal is to transfer from the terrestrial to the celestial, or to when I die, I want it to be in a pulpit preaching the word of God. It's looking more and more like I won't be in a pulpit when I die, but I want my last breaths to be sharing the gospel. That's just a goal that I have. So I want to be healthy as long as I can to share the gospel. So there are a lot of good things that we can do underneath authority structures, and there's a lot of goals we can set, But the ultimate goal is what Paul's been teaching us for 12 chapters, is to preach the gospel, or to make the gospel spread. Does that make sense? Oh, not coming from Michigan, but going, up to Ohio. Oh, I got you. Oh, sweet. Yeah, well, hey, we have a full finished basement. Bring the whole crew. It's got a nicer kitchen than the one up here. So it's got washer and dryer, full bath. You guys, come on. It's got a couple of beds down there, about 6 or 7 rocking chairs. I don't know why. Crazy. All right, so verse 4, for it is verse 3, for rulers are not a cause of fear for good behavior, but for evil. Do you want to have no fear of authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. Boy, that's not true at all. Is it? Do what is good, and you don't have to fear authority? What Paul is saying is, do what they say. In this context, it's not do what's good in your own eyes. So you got to be real specific here. Do what is good. In other words, obey authority. Obey them. And they're going to keep you around. They're going to treat you right because you are making their life better. I used to tell ball players all the time. I told my sons this. Every parent has probably. Ask your coach, what can I do to help the team? What can I do to help you, coach? Don't say, what can I do to make myself better so that the crowd cheers for me? What can I do to make myself better so I get more playing time? No. What can I do to help you look good, coach? What can I do to help you have a better practice? What can I do to make things go more smoothly for you, coach? Yeah. Okay. Verse 4, for it is a minister of God. So this authority, if you do what is good, you will have praise from the same, for it is a minister of God to you for good. God put that person in your life and if you will obey them, things will go smoothly. God put that authority structure in there to make the spreading of the gospel more proficient and efficient. Does that make sense? Okay, we're not quite ready to unpack all that. Yeah, for it's God's will that doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish men. Yes. Yes. So you have an accuser. The accuser comes to you and says, I've had this happen several times in my life. They come and they say horrible, terrible, awful things. And then eventually, what happens is somebody says, what you're saying isn't computing. That person is doing X, Y, and Z right now. So what you're saying about them isn't making sense. And eventually that truth comes out. So let's unpack this. Watch where Paul goes with this avenging language, right? For it is a minister of God to you for good, verse 4. But if you do what is evil, be afraid, for it does not bear the sword for nothing. For it is a minister of God, an avenger who brings wrath on the one who practices evil. Therefore, it's necessary to be in subjection, not only because of wrath, but also for conscience sake. Okay. Now this is becoming more clear. Can you imagine me telling you that if you'll do the right thing, nothing bad will happen to you at work? Your boss will only treat you well. Your coworkers will only treat you well. I know you would probably call baloney just like that. You'd say baloney. It's not true, Tim. Good try. This is the law of attraction, guys. This preaches well, and all the preachers around town will go, "Yep, live right. Everything good will come back to you." No, that's Eastern mysticism. That's cultish. That's not true. In fact, Paul told Timothy, "If you seek to be godly, you shall be persecuted." Uh, Look, there are people in this town that when I greet them and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" they look at me with, oh, like if they had laser power like Superman, they could burn a hole through me. They know what I represent. First of all, just my gender makes some people mad. Second of all, the color of my skin makes people mad. Thirdly, maybe the way that I do my hair. Maybe they like that way I part my hair. Fourthly, they may not like my size. 6'2", 230-pound guy that just looks like a big barbarian. I'm a big goof, and they just don't like me. 5, 6, my accent takes a passport to get in where I'm from in West Kentucky, right? Right, Brittany? Uh, 7, are you getting the point? Let alone the fact that I will say something like, "If the Lord is willing," or, "Lord willing, the creek don't rise," or something like that, or they know what I represent. I'm telling you, game on. You're nowhere in here does Paul mean to say, "Do right, good happens." If it's not until you do evil that bad things are going to happen to you. That's not where Paul's going with this. He's talking about the gospel and the spreading of the gospel. And he's saying, why in the world would we bring undue attention to ourselves? And I'm not going to try to get very political. I don't care if I get political, but it's just not necessary. But there's going to be a lot of attention brought on real Christians in this next election. And it's not going to be directly on us at first, but it's going to be, there's a brand of Christianity out there. In other words, that the Republicans are all the Christians and the Democrats are all the hellbound people. And because of this distinction that's being made by what's being called Christian nationalists, which depends on how you define Christian nationalism, it'd be great knowing that we're a republic and our founding fathers were building the scriptures on Judeo-Christian ethic. Yes, absolutely. But what I mean by Christian nationalists is that the conservative viewpoints that people have means you're automatically a Christian. Guys walked in yesterday, and one guy had a tattoo of the three crosses on a hill, and I said, "Wow, of all tattoos, that really has more meaning to that tattoo." He didn't speak good English, but he was trying. And the guy next to him said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and he put out his arm, and he had Mary tattooed on his arm. Look, you can have beautiful, seemingly wonderful things, but Mary's not going to help you get to heaven. That cross, that's the only way. But there are so many different things people think are going to get you to heaven. But let's stick with the gospel, the pure gospel. And so what Paul's doing here in Romans 13. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You should silence the ignorant talk. Yeah. The joy and the smile get questioned. Yeah, I tell people all the time, what's the difference in the North and the South? You go up north, it takes a lot before people will trust you. You go down south, it takes a lot before people don't trust you. There's your biggest difference when you cross the Ohio River. People think I'm kind of like I'm up to no good, some sort of pyramid scheme guy when I smile at them and I'm nice to them. Well, that's the way I was brought up. Literally brought up. My father, people think this is a joke. Like, oh, they don't know how to take me. But people would run over your chicken. They would go in Breckenridge County, where I was, at English Baptist Church. If you ran over somebody's chicken, this happened. You go in, you clean the chicken, you get to take a couple of pieces of the chicken home and put the rest of it in their fridge or freezer. You went into their house and cleaned their chicken. Things aren't the same up north, and so you have to understand people will now look at you funny, and you talk funny, and you must be from another planet, and so you're up to no good. So Paul's not saying people aren't going to mislabel you, misjudge you, they're going to write you off. Don't fight. Paul says don't fight. Yeah, we've all been mistreated. Some of the problems we bring on ourselves, right? Some of the problems we don't. But we've also had people treat us with grace when we probably deserve to be punished quite severely. And we just, I don't know, I tell people all the time, I come out of the jail, I tell them all the time, the only reason I'm walking out of these bars and these concrete blocks is because their background check probably wasn't thorough enough. I don't squeak when I walk. But there are always going to be those moral police officers out there that are going to say, you don't measure up. This is why you have so many people that badmouth Christianity and say, you guys are just scapegoat, easy, greasy, grace people. And again, verse 5, therefore, it is necessary to be in subjection, not only because of wrath, but also for conscience sake. Why did he say conscience sake? Because our consciences are either clear or seared. Just when you get saved, your conscience doesn't go out the door. If I said to you today, the creator of the universe wants to use you, depending on your conscience, however your conscience is, it's either going to hinder or help. This is why 1 John 1:9 is so important. Confess your sin. You just go to the Lord and say, Lord, I know what I am. I'm reminded of it today. I don't want to walk around with legalism, nor do I want to walk around with a lascivious attitude, or I'll just do anything I want attitude. I don't want either one, Lord. I want to have a balanced understanding of who I am in Christ. So, Lord, cleanse me and also remind me of your grace, because I'm prone to go into legalism, or I'm prone to go into debauchery. I know that I can go either way. Please give me balance. This is what we call having a firm foundation, not to be swayed one way or the other by all the winds of doctrine that come at us. And all you got to do is scroll through some media, and you're going to find there's one guy now, he's wearing a MAGA hat. He's on a lot of the media outlets, and he's saying he's a perfect guy. He never sins. He got saved 3 years ago, and he has never sinned since. Look, that's legalism. That's ridiculous talk. But then you have those out there that would say, do any old thing you want. God's grace will cover it. And their conscience is just never clear. Yes, we're dirty, rotten sinners saved by grace. But at the same time, if we're treating our neighbors like garbage, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to share the gospel with our neighbors. I just met with a fence guy. Property line discussion, right? I paid a lot of money to have our property line surveyed. Well, it didn't go well for the neighbor. The neighbor's going to lose 15 feet. What do I do? What's more important, to get my 15 foot of property and move my fence over, or leave things good with a neighbor who may never care and may never know? I have to pray a lot about it. What would the governing authority say? That's your property. Take it. They got kids. Their kids want to play too in their backyard. I have to consider my neighbor, but not per se because my neighbor thinks I'm great and he'll give me a bunch of brewskis, but because my neighbor, I don't even know what, he tried to hand me a beer the other day, and, I've never had a beer, I don't think, but I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what the name on it was. It was some sort of specialty beer, and they drink a ton of beer over there. And I thought, well, I tried to explain to him that I have a gluten intolerance, but I didn't throw at him, you know, curse the alcohol. No, I just, you're not supposed to really snub your nose up at something that somebody puts in front of you anyway. But I tried to explain to him I have a gluten thing. But even in my head, I was like, well, how not to offend my neighbor? This is not a necessary thing to offend him over. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'll never get the chance. He does know I'm a chaplain at the sheriff's office. But verse 6, for because of this you will also pay taxes. For rulers are servants of God. There we have it again. Devoting themselves to this very thing. Render to all what is due them. Tax to whom tax is due. Custom to whom custom. Fear to whom fear. Honor to whom honor. This is a big one for men. I'm not afraid of you. I have guns too. I'm not afraid of you. I stand behind the law. I'm not afraid of you. Look, I don't know what happened to Christian men, but somehow we started saying things that are so ridiculous. Like it makes you a real man to be afraid of nothing. Well, first of all, do you fear God? That's the start of wisdom, is the fear of God. Look, it doesn't mean that. Anyway, I had a guy the other day that wasn't being very nice at work, and he was gonna. I guess he was gonna do something like get me. I guess I don't know. Tough guy, I don't want to give a lot of the details of it because it just gives you a yucky feeling. But look, I used to have a third-degree black belt. I really wasn't. I really wasn't that concerned. Does that make me sound arrogant? Even though he was a big guy, I wasn't super concerned in the situation that we were in. But why did I have some fear? Look, I don't want to have something happen so that officers have to be called. And so I probably came across wimpy. He didn't know me, and he didn't know the horns that he was about to grab a hold of. And I just said, this is our policy. This is the way things have to be. And I stood my ground, but I did it quietly. And I answered his anger with soft answers. What does the world say? The world says, no, you don't take a wimpy route. You tell him, right? Well, no. I mean, even if I'm the winner, I'm the loser, right? Because what happens? The gospel is hindered. There's no winner there. So, long story short, I got to talk a little Jesus and all of that, and he said he was a believer too, and it ended up actually pretty good. So, I get it, guys. I get it. We are being bombarded and sort of pressed on every side, as Paul told the Corinthians. I'm pressed on every side, but not utterly cast down. I know you feel the pressure. I know that. Push me some more. Keep pushing. I've tried to give an inch, they take a mile. I get it, guys. I'm with you. But these first 7 verses, they are enormous for the gospel. Um, I just want to encourage you as we close this out. I just want to. Oh, it's not who you are or been called to be. It's who you've been called to be. Yeah, it's moral difference. Yeah, or who? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's very difficult, isn't it? I go back to eating a lot and just talk about our eating. You know, you can say like Troy, a friend of mine. He always says, he got diabetes in his family, and he's so it's like, why do I keep eating the sugar? I know what the sugar does to me. I know what's in my future, and I keep eating the sugar. Well, that's a great example. It's real clear. God made nature. We are a part of nature. You can deny it if you want. There are certain animal instincts and desires that we have, and we can ignore those, or we can embrace them, and we can squelch them where we need to squelch them, enjoy them where we need to enjoy them. But I find that a lot of people, let's just take the sugar, and Troy's exactly right. We need to watch what we eat. But have you found yourself getting caught up in all of these videos about, you know, what to eat, what not to eat, and how all these doctors have misled us? And if you, it's all a conspiracy theory. The doctors are trying to destroy us and kill us, and we're all dying because doctors are so bad, and the medicines that they're giving us, it's all a pharmaceutical plot and scheme to get rich, and we're all dying because of it. you know I think you should watch the videos. I think you should learn and be careful, and there's some holistic things to look at. um, there's even light therapy, uh, massage therapies. There's all kinds of things that we're finding out about the human body. But I will tell you this: what's the end? To what end? Why would we get so caught up in figuring out all the conspiracies? Well, Tim, I can live 5 years longer. Okay, but let me ask you a question. Worrying about every little thing you eat, or every little pleasure, or every little not pleasure, or every, oh no, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't enjoy this and I can't enjoy that. You know what happens? The gospel is no concern at all. All of a sudden, I'm about to say something that probably will shock you, that I'm going to say it, but and I don't mean to be a shock and all kind of guy. But the people that I feel like aren't the here are the people that are the most persecuted are the people that are the Romans 7 Christians. Like Paul was so quick to say, the things I wish I would do, I don't do. The things I do, I wish I would not do. There's a war going on in my inner man, and he's just honest about who he is. Uh, Look, somebody asked me to start doing a home Bible study for a couple of their couples, and they said, could you just come in and just refreshingly just teach the Bible? And we're all sinners, and I'm tired of, in their church, they just feel as if they don't measure up, they're no good. And the whole point of the gospel and the cross was that we're not good. That's why Christ had to come. There's a there is a desire of people out there to just be real. And so what I want to say is, we are not trying to clean ourselves up per se. It is not our goal to squeak when we walk. Yeah, but I don't do this and I don't do that and I don't do the other. I've been married for 65 years and never strayed on my spouse. Look how great I am. Really? How much have you done for the gospel? Well, never mind that. I have lived super spiritually creamy in my relationship with my wife or my husband for 70 years. Okay, I'm here. I'm at the party and I celebrate. That's a pure and lovely thing. That's a good thing. But what about the gospel? Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. I didn't ever have television. I never watched a rated R movie. I never ate the Twinkies in life. Fantastic. Good for you. I'm glad that you raged against the system. But one more time, what about the gospel? All those things are wonderful, guys. I work for the same company for 65 years and retired, and I have a portfolio. And just like a good buddy of mine the other day was saying, I'm going to retire a multimillionaire. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is how he served the Lord, and he has in his life, because that money isn't going with him. Nobody ever had a U-Haul behind their hearse. And contrary to what the Egyptians believed, you didn't take your riches with you. So, look, I get it. All this Romans 13, as we study through it, is going to be about how to make the road smoother so we can share the gospel, not just to have a smooth road. Because I promise you, as soon as you think you got a smooth road, it ain't going to be smooth. Yes, but Tim, I did everything just right. Yeah, and guess what? Somebody swooped in and took it all. Yeah, I got all this land. Yeah, and guess what? You're not even going to be buried on your own land. Yeah, but my big house, you should see it. It's beautiful. Yeah, but you know what? Somebody else is going to live in that house. Um, yeah, but gosh, I have this incredible relationship. I've been married for a bazillion years, and yes, that's going to end too. Well, Tim, that's such a defeatist attitude. No, it's not. This is where Jesus said, you will love me so much that it'll seem as if you hate the things of this world that the world says are important, right? Even family. And so, this is a interesting perspective. It's a hard thing to talk about, but Romans 13 is really key to reel back in the Christians who have gotten so heavenly minded they're no earthly good anymore. Does that make sense? So we'll never be good. Never. Yep. Should we have any pride in ourselves? Only in Christ. That's right. What God has done for us, we should devote ourselves wholly to God, our Maker, Sustainer, sharing His name. We receive every day from the Lord. That's right. It's the fruit of His mercy. The same mercy, that's right, Jeremy, that saved us from hell is saving us daily. We need to render, yes, we need to render all we have. We are to the Lord. It will never be enough compared to His glory. That's right. And that which we receive of being adopted children, saved by His mercy and grace alone, we should be dying to sin more and more. The caring to live to righteousness more and more every day, being sanctified according to the word of truth. Our conscience bears witness. There's our conscience, bears witness to this glory, to the glory of God. Amen. Absolutely. This is a work of God in our lives, guys. So, why do we eat the fruit instead of the Twinkie? For the gospel. So, can I have a Twinkie? Sure. Having a Twinkie isn't gonna keep me from sharing the gospel. But being addicted to Twinkies, I'm gonna end up in the hospital and dead. And how many people share the gospel after they're dead? So, keep it in mind. Consider it. Pray about it. We are looking at an interesting election coming up. This is going to get more and more interesting, but I don't vote for a candidate because I think they're going to clean up America. I vote for a candidate that's going to do two things: protect us and reward the behavior, hard work. I think that's the two big things. I think that's what government was there for. Our government was established to get out of the way of religious practices. So I'm going to vote yes. I'm going to vote for those that are going to get out of the way of the gospel the best. Yeah. So that's the reason. Everything else can be good and lovely and pure and wholesome, good discussions, good coffee talk. But guys, if it, that's the barometer, and so hopefully that's helpful as we walk through Romans 13. Oh, absolutely, nothing to boast in. They're not too far away. Good stuff, brother. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, absolutely, glad to have you. All right, guys. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll say bye to everybody. Miss Anna B.
Bye.
Tell them Jesus loves them. Jesus loved everybody. Does he love you? He does. You got a big birthday coming up, don't you? Uh-oh. You're going to be 3?
No.
10?
No.
How old are you?
7.
7! It's going to be Anna B Day Friday, right?
Uh-huh.
But your birthday's Saturday. But we're going to go. We're going to go to a car wash with like different colored car wash soap or something like that. It's going to be a big day.
It's normal soap, but the lights are so bright, it looks like the soap is colored.
It looks like the soap is colored. Yeah. That's a big thing to do. Yeah. So we're going to go do that and probably eat at your favorite place. Mexican food. All right. That's awesome. So you can order chicken nuggets and french fries.
I love that.
All right. All right. Say goodbye, girls.
Bye-bye.
All right. Love you guys. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see you back. If I don't see you Friday, we may do one in the morning because we'll be a little busy Friday. But either way, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see you soon.
Oh, and I want to go fishing for my
Oh, really?
and for Anna B Day.
Want to try to catch a fish?
Yeah.
Interesting.
To put in the fish tank.
Okay. Well, we might try that. Oh my goodness, big day coming up. All right. Well, if the creek rises for this old sinner boy, we'll see you at Jesus' feet.
On Marco, he said that to me.
Yeah. Bye, guys.